All right, I'm just going to try this. Good evening. Actually, it's early morning, and I meant to do this on October 16th because it's actually the day that I wanted to discuss. But I'm going to just stay up until all hours of the night until I get this all out. And I'm not going to edit this. I'm not going to have music because, well, sometimes the music has to stop. So I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of things that happened today. Today was a very interesting day with a lot of mixed emotions. It was a celebratory day, and it was just a sad day too. And now all I can think of is that gift of time that I've been given to pay attention to everything is exactly why I'm supposed to share it with you. So let me start off by saying happy birthday to my granddaddy because he is my only living grandparent, and he was right in the thick of Hurricane Milton, and he now has power and never lost power actually, and there were tornado warnings all around him, but he remains unscathed, and he is amazing. And just there are a couple of it's actually kind of crisscrossed because there are a couple of family members that I feel like I'm most like. So this is my mother's father, and I also feel like I am a lot like my father's mother. And may she rest in peace. I know she's always watching over me. She is amazing and just the epitome of all things wonderful, just like my aunt was. My granddaddy, he amazing man. And you never know when things that you're talking to people about throughout your life are going to be the things that become extremely important, or you can hindsight and just think, oh my gosh, that's why I kept asking. So every time I would hear my mom talking to my granddaddy on the phone, I would always just kind of ask him, like, hey, what Native American what do we have in us, and he would keep telling me, and I just kept forgetting exactly because there's so many different tribes, but it was Creek, and there's so much about them, and you should really research it. But North Carolina, Alabama, Florida, and Muskogee, that's pretty much, and you can just look it up. But I just think it's really quite awesome that I have that in my blood, and I also I'm kind of a mutt because I've got English, Scottish, Irish. There's all the things. Either way, he is an amazing man, and he has outlived his wife and two of his three children. And the only remaining child he has is my mother. And that man he is tough and wonderful and just very, very witty. And I love him dearly. So that is the first thing that I'm going to celebrate and wanted to. So that's what I woke up thinking about. And then all these things on the news got me. And again, with the gift of time. So I'm watching the news, and I try not to so that I can get other things done, but I understand that it is very important for me to pay attention, and it always grabs me. So there's this lady, wonderful woman. Like, I saw her on the news. She's just going door to door, trying to get the word out, and she's running for a Senate seat near Charlotte, and she was dead set on the fact that she already knew that she was going to lose. And I thought that was just crazy that she was like, oh, I'm just really happy to be doing this. But it was due to gerrymandering, and I didn't even know that term. And then Kate Barr, I mean, you're a rock star in my opinion, because this is amazing. You're just calling them out on it. I didn't know that North Carolina and Illinois did this, and that Illinois, well, it got shaken up a bit. I'm hoping North Carolina can do the same. But the way the district lines are, that it is very, very interesting. So again, when I say let's flip it blue, I mean just I have to know in my heart of hearts and pray that it's just going to happen that way regardless. And the trickle down, I mean, we really need to focus on our governor a lot. But anyway, any of the voting and whatnot, I believe the nation's going to take care of the leaders. But we, as our state, Kate Barr, excellent. You're an inspiration, and I'm so glad that I saw that story. So that was amazing and bewildering at the same time, because I didn't know anything about gerrymandering. I had no idea, but it tracks. It makes sense. So looking at that, and then I'm trying to be productive and do other things. And then I happened to see that Ethel Kennedy, I knew that she had suffered from a stroke, but I had no idea that she had passed away. And I just happened to see her funeral live. And oh my goodness, I have never seen a better celebration or more fantastic celebration of life ever. And I knew I knew about Kennedy Center honors and awards, and I knew who she was. And I know that Dave Chappelle earned that award. And yes, he most certainly did, and plenty of others. But I did not know the extent of her reach and what she had done. And furthermore, the amount of people that came out for her and her grandkids, it struck a chord, because when her grandkids started talking and they were saying, okay, well, you know, I'm her favorite grandchild, or this, that, and the other, that's exactly what I used to say about, or to my granny, my father's mother. And she would always do that mischievous sparkle and say, one of them. And it was just amazing. And she just, whew, a gift from God is what that woman was. And she produced a heck of a son who is my father. So when I watched this funeral, it was, I could not do anything but watch it, because of all of the things that I learned about her and her life, and who celebrated it. And it was just inspiring. It was almost, it was just, it was the epitome of everything democracy should be. And how about the fact that she went out with a bang, because the very social injustices that she fought for her entire life after her husband passed away, she fought for them. And her funeral brought all of these people together and showed a side of our president that most have never seen. And if you don't have the gift of time to watch it, you might have missed it. Let me just tell you, I learned so much about Joe Biden today, President Joe Biden, Mr. President Joe Biden, that I felt bad for ever doubting the fact that he belonged in service. And it's okay, because we all get misled a lot, and that is the whole point. But he was just, I had no idea about his life. I had no idea about just exactly what the deal was with Joe Biden, or President, Mr. President, and former President Barack Obama, and all the memes that they used to have about President Joe Biden running after Barack. It makes more sense now, and now they're not funny. They make perfect sense to me, because they are intertwined, and I see the whole chain of events unfolding. And the fact that a lady as astoundingly just amazingly fantastic. I don't have the words. Everything that she did, and the fact that these were her people that celebrated her life and spoke about it and sat in the front row and had all of these wonderful things to say about her, and she had them or held them in the highest regards too. That, if that doesn't tell you something, then please wake up and pay attention, because it was just jaw dropping and awe inspiring. And if you didn't get to see it, I'm sure that they will clip it and maybe you'll see a couple of things. But if Stevie Wonder gets on stage and sings the Lord's Prayer, and then Isn't She Lovely, and pays tribute to Ethel Kennedy, and all of these people come out for her, and they all stood in unison, and her grandkids are literally telling you exactly what she needs you to do. Mind you, Jimmy Carter got to mail in his former president, Jimmy Carter, pardon me, I'm a stickler about that too, so sorry. He made it. He made it. Not only did he make his 100-year mark, he made it to vote early or mail in his ballot and made it publicly known that he was voting for Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. And I think that that is amazing symmetry. So you've got these two very, very prominent figures that it's just amazing to see, because she went out with a bang at the same time as former President Carter got to mail in his early vote. And then you've got all of these people coming together to celebrate such a humanitarian. And her daughter, oh, the words that she, and oh, it's too much. It is too much. But you you have to see the big picture. And I felt so inspired to speak on all of these things, because I'll stay up all night finishing this to get it out there, because North Carolina, you get to start voting tomorrow. Technically today, because it is now past midnight. So you get to start doing that. And again, I cannot stress it enough. If you're unsure, please don't vote, because you don't have to just yet. Also, I was watching, and that's not even everything that I saw. I saw some of the partial questionnaire, or the questions from the Atlanta group of women questioning former President Trump, excuse me, and asking about the reproductive rights and everything. And I don't care if it was a clip or not, or edited or whatever, but you're the father of IVF. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I saw that. And then I saw everything about the Menendez brothers. And like I said, you never know what's going to be relevant and what sticks in your mind until it comes back full circle. So I'm one of those people that loves to watch documentaries and everything. And I actually watched the documentary about the Menendez brothers. And I remember hearing about them a long time ago, and just, heard horrendous, like they were cold-blooded murderers and this, that, and the other. And, I'm not, please don't get this twisted either. I am not an advocate for killing your family, or anybody for that matter. I understand the 10 Commandments. I do understand repentance too. I do understand self-defense. And when all of this came out live, and when I saw that documentary, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, the trauma that these men faced. I'm not sure what really happened, but when the family comes out and talks about signing petitions, and they're reopening the case, and they've spent over 3 decades, and their new evidence has come to light, and it is not the same world that we were living in. And I cannot remember the man who spoke on it. I just remember hearing it as I was trying to walk around and be productive when he said, it's no longer, he said something to the effect, if this were two women, they would not have spent this much time in prison or even gone to prison. But we are not in that world anymore. It has evolved. We don't have to be like that anymore. The assault can happen to boys too, or young men, or anything like that. And I thought that was very, very pertinent. And the way that they have, I mean, the trauma that they've suffered. So I don't, fact check it, don't fact check it. I'm not the person that gives I am the person that feels and speaks on it. I am not the person that can state everything verbatim. So if you try to quote me on it, I mean, good luck with that. It's just everything in the world it's almost like Stranger Things in the upside down world. And I personally love that. I love seeing new things come to light every single day. Like finally the bad guys are being exposed for who they were. Finally people are speaking up. Finally things are starting to change. And all I'm saying, North Carolina, is don't you want to be a part of that? Because really I can't, even with these candidates, some of them, if you don't know by now who is looking out for you and who is going to mess your whole world up even further, and you don't even see, then just do your research. Just do your research. I realize I have the gift of time to watch these things, but do your research before you just make a decision, because it is very easy to get caught up in thinking like our parents did or do. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that they were raised in a certain way and they're older now. So they don't pay attention as much because, they've kind of served their time. They've done their time. They've raised their kids and their grandkids are thriving and everything. And there's a different perspective that us as the Sandwich Gap can offer, because we still care. We have to care because our kids are not the age that our parents' kids are. So they don't pay attention. They're just kind of set in their ways. And it's so important that I let it be known that this is not I'm not pointing fingers at what I've been taught in my life. I know how easy it is to be misled in politics. I know how easy it is to want to impress or be a part of the family dinner table conversations and not be the outcast that disagrees with everything that the rest of your families. I know how that feels. I'm sure many of families, I don't think I'm wrong about this, stopped talking about politics at the dinner table because it always led to fights, or just never said anything. Different doesn't mean wrong. It just means different perspective. However, I am finally okay with just saying I am able to feel the way I feel, see the things I see, be the person I am, and want the changes for my child and for everyone in the world. I am okay with being different from what is expected of me because it serves a greater purpose. And I think that that is more important. And it is not a disrespectful thing, because I wouldn't be in this position without my family and friends. Every person that I've ever met in all walks of my life has either helped create the good parts or helped me make mistakes, do bad things, learn from them, inspire me, or turn me away from something. Everything came together exactly how it was supposed to come together. So if you understand anything that I'm saying, pay attention, just research, do the research, think about this world. If you just, there's so much, it's traumatizing. It is. but I got the gift of time to pay attention. And I'm just trying to get the message out because this is the only thing I can do. I have to do something. This is what I can do. So I hope that something resonated with you. There was way more that I could have said, but I just wanted to go ahead and get it all out there before I lost the train of thought that I'm about to lose. So please don't early vote unless you know. And I am going to try my best to reach as many people as possible between these wee hours of the morning and before you wake up, and maybe you'll be able to hear it, or maybe you'll already know. Until then, I'll be praying for the whole world. I'll be praying for all of us. Good night.